From the pages of IHSFAN Magazine, welcome to Under the Lights, celebrating our 10th season, shining the spotlight on Austin area football teams, coaches, and players. Here are your hosts, Rick Epstein and Rodney Rodriguez.
Good evening, high school football fans. Welcome to show number 2 of season number 8 for Under the Lights, Austin's longest running show of its kind, featuring local high school football. If you like Austin area high school football, this is your show. We are live here at Bush's Chicken on Whitestone Boulevard, the greatest chicken around. Come on by. Let's talk some football, eat some great chicken. Pick up one of the free magazines we've got. We've got IHSFAN magazines, free for everyone. It previews every single team in the area, along with great articles, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year from last year. You need this. This is must-read before you go out to your stadium. My name is Rick Epstein. I'm the publisher of IHSFAN magazine. Joining me this year, the one and only Rodney Rodriguez. What's going on?
Rick, the rain. Coach brought the rain. One of the coaches brought the rain, for crying out loud.
Hey,
finally today.
Exactly. Hey, before we get started, each week we have our Bush's Chicken Team of the Week. And this week we'd like to recognize the Vandergrift Vipers. Coach Drew Sanders and his squad finished 10-1 last season, returned 4 starters on offense, 6 on defense. The Vipers started the season beating powerhouse Dripping Springs 31-14 at a raucous Monroe Stadium. Quarterback Miles Tedecki had a great debut, completing 18 of 25 passes, including 14 straight at one point. The always stingy Vandergrift defense allowed the Tigers just 61 rushing yards on the night. Vandergrift will head to Gupton Stadium on Friday night to face longtime rival, and we're going to talk to him in 1 second, the Cedar Park Timberwolves. Congrats to Coach Drew Sanders and the Vandergrift Vipers for being recognized as our Bush's Chicken Team of the Week. And we're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to talk to 2 great coaches once again. We're going to talk with Coach Michael Quintero of the Cedar Park Timberwolves, and in a little bit we'll talk with Coach Josh Mann of the Rouse Raiders. We hope to get the quarterback of the Weiss Wolves, Jax Brown, here as well, but we'll see how that goes. So let's get it started right away. We're going to head to my good friend, Coach Mike Quintero, who is a much smaller Mike Quintero. Lost a lot of weight in the off season, and Coach, you're looking great.
I appreciate it. I feel better.
And then you get to come and smell this chicken.
Yeah, right, yep.
Coach, 5 overtimes it took against Harker Heights. You came out with the loss in the season opener, but what were you most pleased with on Friday night?
The fight of the kids. There was a lot of adversity in the game, I think, for both teams, and our kids just responded every time. There's some things that we got to work on. We had to work on this week, but the kids fought for 5 overtimes, and we had chances to put the ball game away. And there's some things that, we got to do a little bit better so we can finish those games. But it showed us a lot of things. David Cooper played really well, sophomore quarterback. I think he had 277 yards passing, and Trey Hill had 176 yards rushing. So, yeah, there's a lot of good things we saw out of the game.
Trey was on our show last week, and he said his nickname is 2K Trey. He wants 2,000 yards rushing this year.
Yeah, that's his goal. That is his goal, and he's determined, man. He's a great kid.
Coach, when you get a season opener, how long does it typically take your group to get those jitters out? I mean, you get to hit somebody else finally under the lights. Pardon the pun there, but how long does it take your squad to usually get in the groove and realize, all right, man, the season is finally started. Let's get rolling, especially against a really good opponent like you guys did Friday.
Well, you think when you get into fall camp that you're getting that out of you now because we're the season's here. But I mean, it took us a quarter. I mean, especially with some of the youth that I have on the field right now on both sides of the ball. I was telling David it was good for him to get hit on Friday night because he's never been in a varsity football game, and he got hit pretty hard on Friday night, but he got up, and I think it took some of the jitter out of him, and he just responded, but yeah, I think it took us right up to that game. You're finally realizing the season is here, and you're playing people that are really good. and it's a good measuring stick for us because Harker Heights is a great football team. They're
Absolutely.
really talented. So
Good
well,
program.
speaking of talent, it doesn't get any easier for you as your old district rival, Vandergrift, comes a calling. Vandergrift, perennial powerhouse. They were playing for the state championship 2 seasons ago in Jerry World. Coach Drew Sanders coming to Gupton on Friday. What can Cedar Park expect to see on that game?
Oh, a disciplined football team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do such a good job over there. Coach Sanders does a good job with defense on the defensive side. They're just really sound. Offensively, they do a lot of shifts and motions that make you be really disciplined on defense. And if you're not, they'll exploit it. So that's something that we've stressed to our kids all week about just being, hey, we're going to play hard, but we're going to play hard discipline. And that's been the thing that's probably snake bit us the last 2 years.
Right.
And it's cost us the games. So we just got to be a lot more disciplined this year with some of the things that we're doing.
One of the things I've noticed from Coach Sanders' teams is they just don't seem to make the mistakes on the drives. The holding penalty that costs them 10 yards. They don't. They're just very fundamental, and they get the job done. So it should be an exciting game because I know your fans are up for it.
Oh yeah, it's a big game for the community, for both communities. For our kids, we try to keep them grounded. So it's just another week. We got to, this week we got to be better this week than we were last week, and if we do that, we're fine.
Yeah.
Especially with the preseason that we're playing this year. So
I mean, that's what I was going to ask you. The preseason schedule. You got Huntsville, you got Vandergrift. You just played Harker Heights. I mean, give yourself a little break. Get a Sisters of the Poor in there somewhere. How is that going to help your team down the road?
Well, I think if you look at last year, I think it the early tests to see where our kids were mentally and physically. It showed us some things that we threw our kids into big games.
Yeah.
And when we got to the playoffs, we were challenged. We were down 16-0 against New Braunfels Canyon, and our kids persevered and came back and won. And I just don't think we win that game if we play the preseason that we did and didn't play the district that we did.
Right.
So it's a constant challenge. I don't think we have a week where our kids can take a break, except for the bye week. And really the bye week, we're getting ready to play good football team. So
yeah, and Coach, with that, I mean, you mentioned some of the youth. So kind of couple that, putting all the package together right there, where you've got this non-league play that's, it's a gauntlet, and then you get it into district. Kind of talk about that part, getting these youngsters acclimated to what they're doing now on Friday nights.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have 6 sophomores that are on the field on Friday night.
Wow.
I mean, we got 6 of them. It's a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a double-edged sword for us because we've got some youth out there, but I feel like the kids that we're putting on the field are very talented. But their youth does show up sometimes, and so it's forcing them to grow up pretty quick. Because we don't have time.
Yeah.
And the kids have responded. Our young kids have responded because our older kids are great coaches. I guess we got really good leadership on our team this year. It's just the kids really care about each other. They're helping each other. It's just there's a bond between the youngsters and our older guys that have been part of the varsity for a while. There's just a lot of leadership and taking them under the wing and coaching those guys up. So it helps. It does help.
So you went 3 rounds deep last year. Timberwolves, long storied history. I remember talking to Coach Absek when his first year, 16-0. I said, Coach, you need to quit now. It's never getting better than 16-0 with a state champion. But long storied history. What do you attribute the success that Cedar Park has had over the years?
A lot of great coaches. I mean, it started, when I came here with Coach Mann and all the coaches that we Coach Absick and Coach Ross. It's just the culture that was set. A winning culture that was built off hard work. And I think our kids, that culture is still there.
Yeah.
The kids are just used to grinding, and they're used to challenging schedules. They're used to those type of things, and it's something that's just gone on for a long time.
Yeah.
And so we're just continuing to do that. I mean, it's just we've had really good head coaches at Cedar Park, guys that are really sound in football. They love kids and they know how to grind and get the kids ready for game nights.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more for you, Coach. Coach Quintero. So with Cedar Park, with a storied program like Cedar Park, Talk about, I mean, sub-varsity. I mean, this goes all the way back to middle school. You get them in the program, and they're gradually working themselves up. And I think that's how these legacy programs are built, that it starts much further back than up at the varsity level.
Yeah, when we first got to Cedar Park back in, I guess it was '06. Our youth leagues were pretty much non-existent. There was youth leagues, but there was nothing represented through the high school feeder, and that was one of the things that Coach Ross wanted to get straight. And so we've got a strong CPYFL group that we clinic them, which I know a lot of our high schools do that for their youth leagues. But it starts there. They're now wearing the green and black when they weren't when we got here.
Nice.
So the kids they bleed green and black. I mean, that's what they want to do. And then, we're really fortunate at Cedar Park, and not all of our high schools are, but we've got our feeder, which is Cedar Park Middle. We're one of the only high schools that has one feeder. And so that helps because we've got those middle school coaches that are in line with what we're doing, and they're part of what we do. We're not having to split them with anybody. So obviously that's an advantage for us because we've just got that inline progression with our kids as middle schoolers coming into the high school. So
they get the right terminology, so when they get to high school, they know what you call a rover back, and all the different personalities. Let's talk a little bit about Trey Hill. He's a member of our IHS fan top 10 team. We joked last week he's 2K Trey now. He wants 2,000 yards. Great start for him, 176 yards rushing on Friday. Talk about what makes Trey such a great running back.
His work ethic. I mean, there's nobody on our team that outworks Trey. He's one of those guys that holds people accountable through his actions. If he's going to ask his teammates to do things, he's gonna be the one that's doing the exact same thing he's telling you to do.
Right.
He put a lot of work in the off season. It's one of the things. People were saying, "Well, man, he looks like he's a lot bigger." I said, "He is."
Yeah.
Well, did he lose any speed? I said, "No, he ran track."
Yeah.
He worked on his speed. He gained weight and muscle, but he didn't lose speed. He actually got a little bit faster, and that's something that was a big goal of his in the off season. And he put in that extra work on the weekends, and he ran track during the week. So it really helped him. I mean, he's just a determined kid. He's a really good kid for our locker room.
Yeah.
He's a brother to all those guys, and he cares about his team. So
he's such a good kid. We were real happy to talk with him last week, and he's on the cover of our magazine here.
Yeah.
Our 10th anniversary, believe it or not, 10 years this is going on. We've had many Cedar Park players on the magazine over the years. You were one of the people who came up with the term Black Rain defense back in your day when you were in charge of the defense. Who are some of the leaders on the Black Rain defense this year that we can look for?
It starts with Logan Wickett. He's our Mike backer. He's our inside linebacker who he's just the vocal one. He's the one that's got that returning varsity experience. Logan's one of those intense guys who's really, really physical. Because he sets the tone for us, and we've got Jaheim Porter that's out at he's our field raider. He's that hybrid safety linebacker that he's just a junior, but he looks like a grown man. I mean,
right.
he's one of those guys that he studies the game, and he's got all the tools. He had a really good game the other night. I was really proud of his progression coming out of spring football. So he's a big leader for us. Obviously, Ben Ramos at safety, returning safety for us. Who Ben's another guy like Trey who just dedicated a lot of the off season and spring to track.
Yeah,
he knew he needed to get faster at the position, and he dedicated himself to working on those things. And he's just playing a lot more confident this year. So, been really proud of him and the things that he's doing. So those guys are probably our biggest leaders on defense right now. Those are the guys that are vocal. Those are the guys that are, they were elected as our team captains, which didn't surprise me. Their actions show leadership.
That's awesome. Well, Coach Quintero, we look forward to, maybe having you back on the show later on this as we go through the playoffs. But good luck on Friday against Vandegrift. It's out at Gupton Stadium, which is always a great stadium to be out on a Friday night. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Any early indications?
We're seeing rain.
Whatever it is, the wettest.
The
wettest I ever got was at a Cedar Park Hutto football game a few years back. That it just downpour, but the game went on. It was great times. But Coach, you're a great friend of IHS fan. You're looking great. We wish you all the best, and go get them on Friday night.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
That's awesome. Hey, before we go to break, let me tell you about Dave Campbell's Texas football. Earlier today, I logged on to my Dave Campbell's Texas football subscription. I spent about an hour going through all the area teams. For just $29.95 plus shipping and handling, you can purchase an annual subscription and get both their print magazines each year and access to hundreds of premium articles on their website, texasfootball.com. As a subscriber, you will be mailed both their magazines directly to your house before they hit the newsstands. The website is filled with insider commentary, predictions, archive magazines, and other great exclusive content. What a value it is. TexasFootball.com. Hit the subscribe now button. Also, check out TexanLive.com. That is their TexasFootball.com's streaming site with over 1,000 high school games streamed each season. Go to TexanLive.com for that. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk with another great coach, the head coach of the Rouse Raiders, Josh Mann. You are watching Under the Lights.
Bush's Chicken is a proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. With stores in Cedar Park, Round Rock, Georgetown, both North and South Austin, and our newest store serving Pflugerville and Hutto. Bush's serves the Texas standard in real hand-battered fried chicken and crispy tenders, tasty rolls, and that famous Bush's sweet tea. Bush's Chicken, proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. The Texas standard. Bush's Chicken. It's good, good, good. The Lodge Poker Club is a members-only card club offering a wide range of daily and tournament gameplay. In Round Rock, just off exit 251 on I-35, the Lodge now boasts the largest card room in Texas with 82 tables, comfortable chairs, and 40 75-inch TVs. The Lodge provides fully trained dealers and on-site security with state-of-the-art camera system to ensure the comfort and safety of our members. Open 24 hours a day. More information at thelodgepokerclub.com or call us at 512-614-4045. In the heart of Austin, there's a name that reigns supreme, Covert Ford. For over 114 years, Covert Ford has been driven by the community, offering unbeatable service and a wide selection of vehicles. From the rugged F-150 to the iconic Expedition, Covert Ford has the perfect ride for every journey life offers. Visit Covert Ford Austin, where community drives us. CovertFord.com, off Research Boulevard. Join the Covert family today.
Welcome back to Under the Lights. Hey, we're just having a little chat with our good friend, Coach Mann. We want to thank head coach of the Cedar Park Timberwolves and one of your former colleagues, Coach Quintero.
Former high school.
Yeah.
We're both Sandies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and Coach Quintero go way back to Amarillo back in good old blow San blow days back in 95, 96. He was a year. He is older though. He was a year older. So
boy, doesn't he look good? He's lost 100 pounds.
Unbelievable. Looks great. Yeah, we used to go all against each other because I was a defensive lineman. He was one of the guards.
Man, that's great.
So, yeah. Man. We got way back. We worked together in Wichita Falls, and then we worked together at Cedar Park too. So I love Coach Quintero. He's a great guy.
That is awesome. Well, we want to thank Coach Quintero, and he's got a tough one against Vandegrift at Gupton Stadium on Friday. Now we're going to introduce one of our great friends, Josh Mann, the only coach ever for the Rouse Raiders at 17th season. Hard to believe. You're looking. You never change.
I don't know. I look at some of these old pictures that are up on the wall here at Bush's, and I'm like, "Who's?" Oh yeah, I had dark hair and a few pounds lighter, and eyes don't squint as much there. But yeah, no, it's awesome. I've been so blessed to be able to represent Raider Nation Rouse High School all this time.
We love Rouse and Coach, you had a great season opening win against Connolly. What were you most pleased with?
Just overall execution. You know, you get those first game jitters out of the way, and we really kept a pretty clean game. Had a few penalties from an effort standpoint that we needed to clean up. But, you know, and you always get whenever something, how you're going to execute live for the first time sometimes in those special team situations. So going out there, we executed in the special teams. I thought we took care of business the way we needed to. We got out healthy, which is really big for us with our depth. So, on the journey that we got going in front of us with the tough next 2 weeks, and then obviously tough district play with us moving up into 5AD1. So I was overall pleased. I thought the coaching staff did a great job. We got some new coordinators this year taking over some roles, and man, we didn't miss a beat there. Kids responded great, and the community was amazing.
And it's always good to get that first one out of the way. Rouse, you mentioned that now 5AD1. I mean, y'all have been 6A, you've been 5AD2, 5AD1. It's like you slide up and down that attendance.
Yeah, we've only been one time for back-to-back realignments in the same district. We are constantly the ever-evolving up and down roller coaster. It happens when you're in a big district and they're building schools, and pulling from the north has grown so much over the last 20 years. And now that Glenn is open and other schools, you just constantly going through that reshuffling, and so we've been able to survive it, and we're coming out strong this year.
Yeah. Coach, talk about that part. That's what I wanted to ask you. You kind of beat me to the point right there, because like Rick was talking about right there, this has been your program. I mean, for the entirety of it. Talk about just the progression of it. You build it, you get to a certain point, boom, here comes another school, here's realignment. I mean, it's got to be just a constant roller coaster. There are so many things popping out here.
It's been a huge challenge from that. I've kid everybody, I've opened Rouse twice. We originally got it open, and then obviously with the built a new high school up in Glen, we went from about 2,400s in 2 years about the mid 1,600s. So it was like, whoa, here we go. And then we're constantly building more middle school, so we're not in some of the opportunities that others are in our area or in our district where they have a direct feeding program. We share a lot of campuses, so there's constantly the juggling of the middle school programs coming in and out, and and I think it's a credit. We're constantly, the South grew up. I've been in district 20 years. All the growth was in South and Vandergrift and Cedar Park, slowly out to Vista, and now all the growth's in the North, and it's just been a tremendous challenge. But I think it says so much about our district, because you look across, and I mean, every one of our high schools in LSD is so strong, and they got amazing coaches. And it's rare you get big districts like this, and there's one or two outliers, and everybody else is okay or down below. You look at that across the state, and when you show up to an LSD complex playing an LSD team, you're gonna have to get ready. And it's fun to be a part of that colleague, that group with all these great men that are head coaches in this district. And love those guys. Obviously want to beat them on Friday nights, but
don't love them
then. we get along great. It's a great support system that we have with our staff.
Oh, what a great group of coaches! I know them all, and I count you as one of my friends here, Coach Man.
I appreciate that,
Coach. It doesn't get any easier for you. You play the most interesting team in Central Texas, in Liberty Hill.
That's a nice way of saying it.
I mean, very few teams run their offense, the slot T, whatever you call it. How do you prepare for a team? Not only are they a perennial power, they seem to be good every year, but if they don't play football, offensive football, like everyone else. How do you prepare for that?
Well, I don't know if you do.
Right.
You do your best in a short amount of time to get ready for it. We've been fortunate enough to see it so many times over the last year. Our kids are a little more accustomed to it, so when we go to organize a scout team, it's not like brand new to them. In fact, some of our seniors were joking today, get out, I'm going to run it for us because I've been the scout guy for 4 years. You're not taking my tight end spot away in the slot T. But it's a credit to Coach Walker and their staff and Coach Vance before that when he was there. I mean, I always tell you, there's people that the slot team mafia. There's teams that run the slot team, and then there's Liberty Hill that runs it. It's a different level. Credit to their coaching staff. They're playing chess with you.
Yeah.
They're constantly moves ahead. You get into your system defense. They're going to throw false keys. They're going to do all these other checks that you're not just stopping the buck sweep. You're not just stopping the trap. It's more than that. And they're big hitters.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks of this offense as 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and they're just going to grind out. You watch them; they are an explosive football team in the way they attack you, and they get big long runs all the time. And that's the key: is try to limit those and try to stay ahead of the chains and keep your offense on the field. And the best way is not to let them on, and try not to let them on in the field because it's hard.
If you've never seen Liberty Hill, it's tough to know who has the ball. I mean, everybody's doing crisscrosses, and they get out of the huddle, and the minute they're down it snapped.
We
And,
have seen plays where the referees have not blown the whistle. The guy was tackled on the ground, got up and kept running because the whistle hadn't blown, and he goes scores, and he was tackled because nobody knew who had the ball.
Yeah.
So that's just like, come on. We tackle. It never happened to us, thank God. But
Right.
I've seen it on film, and I'm like, that would be extremely frustrating.
Yes. That's crazy.
We were talking to Coach Quintero about to find your groove to get into the game and so forth. Like when you're taking on Liberty Hill with that slot T, because you talk about the scout team and all that. You can practice it all you want, but do you have to go to the kids after the game starts and reel them in because you're like seeing it real life?
Yeah, it's going to be faster than you see. You can't. I mean, I think we do a really good job of simulating it, and then I go back and watching film. Like, God, that's just not fast enough. They're going to get on the edge this much faster. They're going to hit that down block. They're going to hit that trap quicker. And so you usually through your first couple series, you hope that, stem the tide and just balance. The good thing is that, we try to mix it up how we're going to look every year so they can't just predict, and that you kind of try to keep them off skelter a little bit there. But, it's going to be a great game. I love it because it's a huge challenge. And I think you've got to get somebody that runs the slot T or the wishbone or some type of option that's an I team, because you're going to run into it eventually if you want to be a playoff contender. Somebody's going to come up, and if you don't have a plan, they're going to take advantage of you. So it's a great
turn the
challenge.
tables and run it against them.
Yeah, our scout team probably could run it on the JV level this week. They're like, man, I think we can do this. Like, hold on.
Now you're going to play that game. You're going to go up the tollway, take a left on 29, and head on out to Liberty Hill for that one on Friday. Let's talk about last season. You were 8-4, a couple rounds deep into the playoffs. What are your thoughts on this year's squad, and who are some of the offensive leaders?
Oh man, this year's group it's a senior heavy group. It's where our numbers are moving up to 581. Where you're starting to see that we've been in the low mid 20s with seniors. We're in the 30s this year with seniors, which is really exciting. Proud of this group. They've really done a lot of great things already in their history at Rouse. But London Morgan right now is a returning starter for us. He had an outstanding top sophomore season. He already had an amazing week one. He's elevated his game. Every one of our wide receivers are back from last year. Noah Fabia, Jaden Sauceda, all those guys are back. And then we have a monster tight end in Mason Rieger. He does a heck of a job. And then our backfield with Bryce Johnson and Anthony Reyes and a sophomore coming up, Auburn Davis, they're doing a great. But for me, I love those guys up front. I mean, you can do all this football, no matter if you're the slot T or a spread. It comes down to those hog daddies in the middle, and they got to get after it. And I love the whole line. We got some great ones.
One of the things I've always thought about whenever I come out and I see y'all play, your offensive line just looks bigger than everybody else. What do you feed them out there?
I don't know if that
Bush's chicken.
A lot of Bush's chicken. There, we'll plug Bush's chicken for them right there. Yeah, you want big offensive linemen, feed them Bush's chicken. There you go.
Exactly, Coach. We talked about your offense. Now let's flip it and go on to the defensive side of the ball. Who are some of the guys that we should be watching for?
Man, it starts up front again with the D-line. Braden Ebermwan, Tyler Miller, Tyler Evans, Hunter Simpson. Those guys are all back from last year, returning starters, and Braden had a huge impact already week one. Our secondary is all back. Certain Judson Mann, Jacob Dotson, Colties. Deuce Breakthrough had an injury in the scrimmage last year. We didn't get to have him. He's gone back. He was our defensive player of the week for our team this past week. And then we're breaking in some where we usually have a lot of depth. The linebacker crew has always been so good at Rouse. We got brand new ones that this is the first time, but Neil Barton already had an amazing week. Reed Henson, who's an upcoming, he's a junior. He may look out there and he doesn't look at the biggest guy, but that dude, dynamite comes in small packages. You better pack it when he's coming. So, and then Connor Thompson and Aiden Abruzolga are filling out that front. They're a fun group. They're very one thing I'm real impressed. They're a very high IQ defensive group. We're doing some fun stuff, and the playbook got big this spring with them. That was exciting.
Well, you held the Cougars to 10 points. You mentioned Judson Mann. Now, was Judson named after Converse Judson?
He was, and the
Rockets.
He was born in 2006.
D.W. Rutledge.
We were, January 3rd. We were. That UT was winning the national championship, and as we were kind of getting through that late December, we were watching the Texas High School State Championship game. We couldn't go because my wife was pregnant, and Converse Judson was on TV playing at the Palace, and when the state game wasn't yet at AT&T, and so I'm Joshua. My brother's Justin. I have a Jacob brother, and so then we have Jace. And now Judson. So we were having to find a J name, and then this Judson was playing Converse Judson State Championship team. Like, that fits. Let's go.
That is awesome.
So that's where Judson came from.
And he is another son of yours, and he's in his senior year. What's it like being able to coach your son?
Oh,
Both sons.
it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
It truly is. I mean, it's really unique with them. I mean, Judson's, they're two different kids,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy for that because they're not the same. And Judson's really unique. His spirit and his energy is unmatched. He's all about the swag. He's going to bring a level of high level confidence. He's going to talk a lot. He's getting ourselves lined up this week in a lot of ways, and he just brings a different atmosphere and a different flair to it. And he's always around the ball. We always tease him. It's like, man, he always finds interceptions. He always finds the ball, and and I love his unselfishness because he started off on varsity as a sophomore as a wide receiver, and started as a wide receiver, and then going his junior, we were thin, and it was like, hey, man, I know you know football. Let's come over here and try this defensive thing. And he wanted to do it. And so I'll go and let somebody else step up on the offensive side, and jumped over there and really, found his way last year as a defensive back. And then this year he's really taken on the position. You can see him playing at a higher level.
Over the years, I remember Coach McMahon had his son playing for him at McNeil. Coach Robinson had his son playing for him at Cedar Ridge. One thing as a father, you're a head coach, yes, but do you get a chance to say, you know what? Do you get a chance to be a dad on a Friday night?
There's
at
times,
some point?
yeah, absolutely. There's times you get caught with just watching your kid and a few moments here and there. And, when they hit, I'll never forget his first interception against Anderson last year. And it was just like, oh, wow, that so happy because there's a lot of pressure being a coach's kid.
Oh, of course.
There's a ton. There's always going to be that skepticism that they earn it or not. And so you see it, the coaches fight for it, and then when there's that affirmation, when they make a play, when they do something right, you see that their skill is not just being given to them, that they're earning it, and those are the fun moments, and that's where you kind of, as a dad, you get that really good feeling inside.
Well, especially a senior year, don't be afraid to be a dad every now and then.
Second time through, this has been, I learned hard, the first one, that's always hard because your first one, you don't know. It's a different rush of emotion. This one is a little different because I've gone through that once, and this time it's like I get this, and I know where to not push and where to treasure. So that's been exciting through that process.
Coach, how great is it? We talked about all the growth out here. How great is it that you get to play Glenn, that you get to play Leander and Cedar Park? I mean, there's, while some of these schools are newer, man, you get those good Friday or Thursday night rivalries and get to mix it up with all.
It's fun because we were the only school in D2 last year, and so everybody else is still playing in the little Leander zone, and you see those games, and we weren't a part of that. We still, played Glenn. We've had them on the schedule the last couple of years, but it's exciting to be back. One, you don't travel as far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think after we go with these 2 games in a row, we're pretty much Gupton Bible, one away, Gupton Bible. So from a get to sleep about an extra 35 minutes a night on Friday nights, that's a treasure for a coach. But it's awesome. It's fun being around those guys and getting to play those atmospheres. And they're great crowds, they're big stadiums, and it's fun when you get that competition. Absolutely.
Coach, before we let you go, we mentioned 17th season. You seem to be excited. We had Anthony Wood on last week, and he's always pumped for the season. And he's over 20 seasons at Westwood. What do you enjoy most about coaching still?
Oh, man, it's still the wins are awesome. All that stuff that happens on Friday night. Right now, I'm really enjoying watching when you see a kid develop that hadn't developed a skill yet, you've been pushing him to, and all of a sudden it clicks, or he makes that play that he never thought, and that light comes on, that enjoyment. Or when right now, being like Coach Wood and some of us that's been in this area, when your former player comes back that's now has kids, and you're like, oh gosh, I'm getting old, and here recently it's watching the success of our coaches, coaches going off, getting head coaching jobs, or just a coach on staff developing. And, we this year we created a position on our staff for, Coach Brooks. She's coming over as the head track coach, and she's our director of football operations, and watching how that's growing our program, and just the develop of men and kids and the relationship in the community, that's just the cool part. And I get to represent Charlie Rouse. I mean, our namesake is there. He's still alive. Yep. He's a huge part in our lives, and that I get to go out on Friday night and represent his name. That's the most important thing I keep to me. I got to live up to that standard, and awesome. And then that's a good humbling mark to keep fighting for. So really proud of that.
Well, Coach Mann is one of the great ones that, I say it every week. Every coach that comes on is just just a guy that you'd like to go out and go to dinner with, and they're just great guys and great leaders of young men. Coach, we wish you all the best on your season. You got a couple tough ones: Liberty Hill, then Midway,
Waco Midway,
and
then at Lake Belton, and then that guy that was in here, Cedar Park.
Yeah,
and
Cedar Park.
Then let's go play Georgetown. It's like, yeah, okay.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, Coach, good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you,
and
guys.
we wish you only the best.
Absolutely. I'm going to go pick up some Bush's Chicken, take it home. My wife's birthday is today, so I got to spend. Yeah, y'all are in trouble.
Oh my God!
Y'all scheduled
That happened
me
once before.
Yes, it does. It's always y'all always get it on my wife's birthday. So
I hope she forgives us.
dude.
She'll get some chicken out of
Miss
it.
Coach, man, she's the reason why I've been able to do this 17 years.
That's awesome.
She's the rock and foundation. So
Happy birthday!
Happy
Right.
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Hey, when we come back, we'll talk about this week's schedule and scores from last week. You're listening to and watching Under the Lights.
In the heart of Austin, there's a name that reigns supreme: Covert Ford. For over 114 years, Covert Ford has been driven by the community, offering unbeatable service and a wide selection of vehicles. From the rugged F-150 to the iconic Expedition, Covert Ford has the perfect ride for every journey life offers. Visit Covert Ford Austin, where community drives us. CovertFord.com, off Research Boulevard. Join the Covert family today. The Lodge Poker Club is a members-only card club offering a wide range of daily and tournament gameplay. In Round Rock, just off exit 251 on I-35, the Lodge now boasts the largest card room in Texas with 82 tables, comfortable chairs, and 40 75-inch TVs. The Lodge provides fully trained dealers and on-site security with state-of-the-art camera system to ensure the comfort and safety of our members. Open 24 hours a day. More information at thelodgepokerclub.com or call us at 512-614-4045. Bush's Chicken is a proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. With stores in Cedar Park, Round Rock, Georgetown, both North and South Austin, and our newest store serving Pflugerville and Hutto, Bush's serves the Texas standard in real hand-battered fried chicken and crispy tenders, tasty rolls, and that famous Bush's sweet tea. Bush's Chicken, proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. The Texas standard, Bush's Chicken. It's good, good, good.
Welcome back to Under the Lights here live at Bush's Chicken at 551 Whitestone Boulevard. People are getting their chicken, listening to high school football, and picking up their absolutely free 10th anniversary copy of IHSFAN magazine. Hey, every area high school team, 5A and 6A, is in here with a preview along with other great articles. Pick it up for free or go to our Twitter page at IHSFAN, and you can get a digital version and flip through the magazine on your phone. We want to thank our two coaching guests today, Coach Michael Quintero, the Cedar Park Timberwolves, and Coach Josh Mann of the Rouse Raiders, who's picking up his wife some birthday chicken from Bush's Chicken. What two great guys.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. And we were talking last week with Anthony Wood when we talked about the Round Rock 25 6A coaches, and you feel that brethren right here as well.
Yes.
With these guys. And it really is cool, like Coach was mentioning right there, that those rivalries now really get to come to a crescendo now where they get to play each other in conference and league games. And I think that's really one of the highlights, and I'm looking forward to that district this year.
Well, especially the rivalry Glenn Rouse. Oh. You know, that Glenn opened up. Glenn's right out by where I live, and they're relatively new school. Yeah. They opened up when Weiss did at the same time, but they took a lot of players.
They took
from
our players.
Rouse.
That's right.
And Rouse was a 6A team, and they went all the way down to a 5A D2, back to a 5A D1. So that should be an interesting rivalry. We'll watch that. Let's go over some scores from last week. Del Valley got a big win, 54-21 over Cedar Creek. Harker Heights beat Cedar Park in 5 overtimes, 45-43. Glenn, we just talked about, beat Medina Valley 21-7. Rouse got that big win, 57-10 over Connolly. the Cougars fell there. Marble Falls shut out Crockett 56-0. Then we've got Vista Ridge had a big win over Killeen, 31-21. Vista Ridge, a powerhouse in 25-6A. Buda Johnson beat Cedar Ridge on Cedar Ridge home opener, 28-14. That one was out at Kelly Reeves. Travis beat Aikens, shut them out 24-0. LBJ, big win over San Antonio Houston. The Jags starts off another great season. And by the way, I saw Cedric Alexander. Remember Cedric Alexander?
Yeah.
He's now playing for Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
the Commodores.
Big
he had
win.
a big win.
Big win.
Huge upset over Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that took it on the chin right there on that one.
Exactly. Bastrop 41-6 over Alvin. Midway, who Coach Josh Mann will be playing in a few weeks. They beat Westwood 43-7. Cibolo Steel 49-26 over a tough Liberty Hill team that Rouse is playing this week. Hayes over Elgin. Chaparral over Lehman. Victoria West over Lockhart. Vandergrift beat Dripping Springs 31-14 in what may be the game of the week last week.
Yeah, that one you knew was going to be a good one. We talked about that just from recent history. Those two really lock it up, and that's two teams in this area that are going to be making a lot of noise this year. So remember those two. Same old thing all over again when it comes to those two programs.
Lake Travis, Hank Carter got off to a great start. They went up to Arlington Martin and beat them 51-12. Georgetown, huge win for the Eagles, 54-14 over Victoria East. Pflugerville beat Leander 54-28. Bowie got off to a great start. Coach Abels, the longest
still going
head coach. He and Coach Cheshire just are the Mount Rushmore of Austin area high school football coaches. Been there forever. They got the big win over Maynard, 60-34. Hutto beat San Marcos 63-8. Hutto's now in 25-6A.
Yeah.
Austin High beat Canyon, and Round Rock beat Shoemaker 22-14 out there at Dragon. Westlake beat Prosper. Anderson over McCallum in the Taco Shack Bowl. 57-40 in a game that I think ended at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
That game lasted forever.
Going on for a bit.
A game I saw, and I was the PA announcer for, Weiss over McNeil in 2 overtimes it took. What a game that was. We wanted to have Jax Brown on the show tonight. Don't know where Jax is. Hope everything's okay. But he was supposed to be on the show today. He's out for the season with an injury, but they've got a new quarterback, but they are explosive. They beat McNeil 42-41 in a thriller.
Yeah, we talked about that one last week, that was one of the ones that we had circled in pen as one of our games of the week, and it definitely lived up to the billing right there. 2 overtimes to start the season off right there.
Well, and Jarrell Gary had a chance. He was inches away from winning. McNeil went for 2 and to win the game, and he fell just short there. Stony Point 28 over Eastview, 28-22, and Hendrickson beat Belton 14-0. So those were the scores from last week in week 1. Let's go over and do some predictions. Rodney, you ready?
Let's do it. Let's take a look.
Thursday night, Aikens at Cedar Creek. We won't predict that one. Bowie at Vista Ridge out there at Gupton on Thursday night. Bowie, both of them coming off big wins.
That Bowie with a huge win and looking awful strong right now. But this will be at Gupton.
Yes,
think you got to go with 25-6A in this one.
I'm going with Vista Ridge. Leander at Hendrickson. Hendrickson coming off a win. This one will be out at the field. I'm going to go with the Hawks in this one.
I'll agree with you there. I think you lean Hendrickson there.
Pflugerville at Hayes. Westwood at Austin High down at Historic House Park, built in 1941. If you've never been to House Park, get on down to downtown Austin, possibly the best setting in all of high school football. I'm going to go with the Warriors to get back in the win column this year.
I've called a lot of Westwood Austin High games, and I can tell you, especially when they are there. I've done 49-42s and 52s to 49s, and I expect a lot of scoring in that game. But Westwood will bounce back. Westwood very young, so they're working some kinks.
Maynard New Tech at Chaparral, Maynard at Harker Heights. Let's go to Friday night. Anderson plays Elgin. Vandergrift at Cedar Park. Hard to bet against Coach Drew Sanders and the Vipers. We just talked to Coach Quintero. What a great guy. But I think the Vipers are going to take care of business, come into Gupton and get the win.
I agree with you, and I just really applaud Coach Quintero right there to talk about that non-district schedule that he's playing. That's going to prepare that team for district play, but that's tough sledding right there with the Vipers coming in.
Before we go any further, I want to give a special shout out to young little Skull Mike out there who's watching right now. Hey, Skull
Mike. He's been
Mike.
checking in. Yeah.
There we go. Skull Mike out there watching. And let's continue. Cedar Park at Midway. A lot of area teams are playing Midway. Judson at Hutto. Oh, Hutto had a big game, big offensive game. Judson Rockets coming to town, perennial power. I'm going to go with Hutto. Let's get the Hippos.
I am too, and I think all of 25 6A, when they saw that result last week, they were like, "Uh-oh," because that was a thrashing that Hutto put on last week. They're primed.
They are primed.
Brand new stadium.
Brand new press box
brand
too.
New press box.
Stony Point at Johnson, Rockwell at Lake Travis. Let's go with Lake Travis in that one. Round Rock at Temple.
Yeah.
Interesting. They used to be a powerhouse in Texas high school football. Round Rock's going to journey on up about 50 miles up to Temple and play them. I saw Round Rock. They look good on Friday night. I'm going to go with the Dragons.
I'll go with the Dragons also. I mean, they're just so solid. They're just so solid. It's still weird to me, Rick, that Jeff Cheatham is not coaching the Round Rock Dragons.
I talked to Coach Cheatham the other night, and he says, you know what? He misses Friday night, but he doesn't miss having to be at the school on Saturday morning.
I bet.
And he likes to be able to sit at home on Sunday. So he's enjoying his time off.
No game plans to be had.
Weiss at San Marcos. San Benito comes to town and plays Westlake. Oh, poor San Benito. You're going to drive all the way up from the valley and get thumped at Westlake. Well,
and it's going to be raining on their trip over here. So then
goodness.
You get here and you got to take that group on. Yikes.
China Spring at Bastrop, Burnett at Eastview, Crockett at Canyon Lake, Del Valley plays Schertz Clemens, Georgetown at Belton. I was really impressed with Georgetown's dominating performance at Birkelback the other night. They head on out this time to Belton, just a few miles up the road. I'm going to go with the Eagles on that one.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. Just fundamentally solid. It appears Georgetown is once again getting them ready for league play, which is going to be a lot of fun in that district, as we mentioned.
Glenn at Cove. Rouse plays Liberty Hill. You know, Liberty Hill runs that slot T. Coach Mann seems to be prepared for it. I'm going to go with the Rouse Raiders to give Liberty Hill their second loss in this young season.
Yeah, an 0-2 possible start for Liberty Hill. I'm going to go with the Raiders also. That defense that Coach Mann was talking about is all those kids that are back. The defense is, but still, it's a slot T. It's still the slot T, but I think they got a grip on it. It seems like.
Travis at McCallum, McNeil at Lake Belton, and Northeast at Navarro. Folks, get on out there. Watch some high school football. So much great high school football in the area. We don't have any games on the IHSFAN Webcast Network this week. We had 4 last week. At any time, you can watch this show and all those games on the IHSFAN Webcast Network on YouTube. So we hope you would like and subscribe to our channel, as we're going to provide you tremendous content, not only with this show, but games from the Round Rock ISD, games whenever they're played at Kelly Reeves or Dragon Stadium. Rodney, any final thoughts?
No, just looking forward to another week. Like Coach mentioned, I think there's going to be some rain possibilities. So you might want to pack your ponchos and all of that for that, because Friday night could get a little wet. Just be weather aware. You start seeing lightning, and if your game gets delayed, it's going to be okay.
Yes,
it's going to be okay.
As long as there's no lightning. Lightning causes us to have those delays, and every time there's another lightning,
30 minutes.
Another 30 minutes.
Reset.
Folks, come on to any area Bush's Chicken. Pick up your 10th anniversary IHSFAN magazine. I saw a bunch of them right here on the counter. They're free for you. They list every single team with a brief snapshot of players to watch and what they did last year, along with other great content. Pick up your IHSFAN 10th anniversary magazine right here at Bush's Chicken. Hey, we'll be back next Tuesday for another great show where we'll have more coaches, guests, and we'll try to get another player on. For everyone here at IHSFAN, get on out there, watch some high school football, and we'll see you next Tuesday night under the lights.